Dave Palumbo here with another RX Muscle Rant. Guys, take a look at this picture. Can you believe it? The two biggest men on the planet, Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, also probably two of the strongest men on the planet, sitting next to each other on an airplane. What's wrong with this picture? I highly doubt that there is a coincidence that just by chance two guys don't even live near each other happen to be put right next to each other in the same seat on the same airplane. The coincidence is too astronomical. Here's my theory on it. First of all, no one wants to sit next to these guys. And do you blame them? I was 315 pounds and I didn't want to sit next to anyone when I was traveling. As a matter of fact, I would sit in a seat and a half and my girlfriend at the time would be in a little corner of the seat. So no one wants to sit next to these guys. Another factor to take into account is that these guys weigh over 400 pounds each, which could definitely tilt the airplane if they're both on the same side of the plane. So they got to be on opposite sides of the plane, and if you want to keep the equilibrium on one of these small connecting flights, what's the best way to do it? Put them next to each other. But evidently, that wasn't really what was done, if you think about it, because if you were going to balance the plane, you'd put one in the aisle over here and one in the aisle over here. What happened? Why were these guys put together? If I were them, I would never have put up with it. But you know what? Brian is such a nice guy. So is Eddie. They don't want to start any trouble. They figured, what the hell? We got a great Instagram picture here, right? Well, back in the day, when I was competing and I was weighing over 300 pounds, there was a time where Jimmy Pilecki and I were on a flight together. Now, Jimmy the Iron Bull was also a big guy. He took up a lot of space. He had no flexibility. And we were on a Southwest flight. And Southwest has this policy, first come, first serve. Jimmy and I were late for the plane. We got on the plane last, and we were in an absolute panic because we knew we were going to get the worst seats possible. And more than likely, we were going to be in the middle seat. So we sprinted, we cut people on the line. We somehow got onto the plane, and we found the last row that was open. So Jimmy and I go to that row. I sit on the window. I let Jimmy sit in the aisle, and we have this open seat between us. Now what we did was we're praying. No one come, please, no one come. I mean, we're seconds before the door is going to be closed, and all of a sudden, some lady starts walking down the aisle. And we know, number one, she's going to come right for where we are, even though there's one other seat still open on the plane, because we checked all this out. We scoped it. So as the woman's walking, all I know is I hear Jimmy say, "Keep walking, Stinky." And I'm like, oh my God. First of all, she was an Indian woman. And Jimmy, has these stereotypes about different nationalities having different, and he's, a lot of times he's right. I was so mortified. The woman was so appalled that she kept walking, and she went to the other seat, and she sat in the plane. Now, I felt really bad. At that point, I almost wanted to invite her to sit next to us, even though we didn't want anyone between us, because we almost had our shoulders touching, and there was a seat between us. However, given the fact that I was 315 pounds and that I was in a profuse sweat already and we hadn't even taken off yet, I was almost glad that he did that. So I can't even imagine if I had weighed over 400 pounds and Jimmy weighed over 400 pounds, what it could possibly be like sitting next to each other on a plane that the seats looked really small. I will say one thing for these guys. I really take my hat off to them that they're not the prima donnas, or they don't feel so self-entitled that they always have to have, a first-class seat. Look, sometimes you can't get one. Sometimes it's just too expensive. Guys, you are the best. You sucked it up. You took the picture, and I'd say it was worth it because this picture is priceless. Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle Rant.
Yeah, I did, but the motherfucker wants to move my basement. He's coming back from California. Fucking find a fucking house in the fucking school district, right? Otherwise, I'd fucking move out of this motherfucking state. I'd go down to fucking Carolina or some shit. What the fuck is that? Who's cleaning my fucking window? You got some fucking shit. Fucking thing was this big, bro. This cocksucker goes around $250 for the fucking wheeler. Fucking kidding me? Fucking mine. I should call my fucking mother. I'm gonna flip the fuck out. I'm gonna kill the first motherfucker who walks by me. What do you mean? 3 fucking months ago, my insurance and storage too. You fucking cocksuckers.